know the pain.
What is happening, guys? How you doing? Welcome to my channel and welcome to a film review. This is the first film review in quite a long time because all the cinemas are closed because of coronavirus. So now we're back to business. So me and my girlfriend yesterday went and watched Tenet, and it was such a very good film. I'm still pondering on the film right now as I speak. It's such a very confusing film altogether, right? It's all about time. So Christopher Nolan always deals with time. I've seen a lot of likeness that I can compare to Inception in different ways, such as time. Inception was always like times 10. So 5 hours in the real world was 50 hours in the dream world. So yes, here we see Christopher Nolan, once again, he plays with time. So it's based on time inversion. So I've been doing quite a lot of research in this film so I can just try and understand as much as possible. So we see the lead character, John David Washington. Now, a lot of people don't know who he is, but if you've seen Ballers before, you've seen BlacKkKlansman, you will know who he is. I think he managed to do this role. He executed the role perfectly. And he's also the son of Denzel Washington. So you gotta know how to act, right? So we see Robert Pattinson as well. So John David Washington, he's the protagonist basically, right? So he's actually, how can I explain this? So he's actually in the past working towards the future. So he partners up with Robert Pattinson, who's actually from the future that is actually working backwards. So they've got the same goal, that is to try and save the world. So the world's actually at stake because there's been weapons that have been sent from the future into the past, into the protagonist's time, right? So he's actually, we see the opening scene in, what's that country, in Ukraine at the Opera House, where they actually encounter each other, the protagonist and Robert Pattinson. But then, you know, we see like the protagonist actually gets captured, and instead of him giving up his teammates, he takes the cyanide pills. So the pills meant to kill him, but it doesn't actually die. It puts him in a coma, and then when he wakes up, you know, he wakes up on a boat, and he's recruited to work for Tenet. So Tenet is this organization that is tasked with actually saving the world from the future. So there's people in the future that have sent this guy, this bad man, who's actually Kenneth Branagh. I think he done a very good job with his Russian accent as well. So he's sent by these people. So he's given power. So he's given this algorithm which allows him to go back in time. So he's able to go back in time and actually go forward in time. So we see this mysterious character. He is the key that holds everything in place. And if he dies, then pretty much the world dies. So he wants to kill himself because he's got some sort of cancer. So then the protagonist and Robert Pattinson have to try and stop him killing himself, because if he does before they find these 9 pieces of the algorithm, then the world ends. So it's pretty much a race against time. So I'll try and explain this. So this is based on the second law of thermodynamics, right? So this law is all about like measuring of randomness in the world. So this law is about, it's actually called the Maxwell's Demon Law. So it's the second law of thermodynamics. So I'll go a bit slowly. I'll try to remember what I can remember, right? If I'm wrong, hey, you know what? Fair play. So this law is about how 2 different spaces can have a doorway, and 2 different spaces can actually have a similar thermal equilibrium. And when you introduce the demon's actually able to open the door that connects these 2 different boxes. And you can have particles that are hot on the left-hand side remain on the left-hand side. Then the other particles that are cold are able to move from the left-hand side into the right-hand side. So you get the cold side on the left, which is the blue side, and the hot side on the left-hand side, depending where you're looking from, which is the red side. So now then you have 2 different states. So you've got one hot state, then you've got one cold state. It explains as well, because in time inversion, when the protagonist inverted himself, when he actually went through the door into a different time span, you'll find that, you know, the world was not inverted, but he was inverted. So he had to wear a mask. because he's breathing out oxygen rather than breathing out carbon dioxide. So he had to wear the mask to protect himself. And also the movements were quite hard because he was actually working against the time. And also with the fire would extract, whereas normally fire burns in the real world, but the fire would actually extract the heat from the body. So when when you go through a fire, you actually get colder. So this is all the intricate parts to try and lay it out for you guys in case you didn't get it. So if you didn't do your physics or if you missed out the physics classes, hey, good luck with you. But yeah, so we see time is actually used. Now, it's not like a time travel film. It's more like about like living in that time to try and get to the past. So let me explain this. So so today is Thursday, right? Say I want to go back to last Thursday. So I've got to leave the days backwards. I'm going to leave the day backwards. So which means tomorrow being Friday in the future, for me, tomorrow will have to be Wednesday, right? Then I have to go back a week, right? To get to the particular time where I want to change the past, right? So because you see, it's a war of the past, the present, and the future. So this is the protagonist's job. There's a lot of characters that play a very key role. Specific another character is Elizabeth Debicki. So she is the wife of the Russian guy, right? So she is trapped by him, and she plays an important role, like towards the end, where she actually tries to kill him, and she manages to kill him. But as she is killing the husband, Robert Pattinson and John David Washington are able to take away and break off the 9 algorithms at the right time, right? Because she tries to free herself and her son from the hold of the husband. So we also get beg your pardon. So we also get Michael Caine as well. He plays a very important role. He's always featured in Christopher Nolan's films such as Batman and also Inception as well. So we get him as well. He's this figure that actually helps John David Washington. So all in all, when we look at the film, John David Washington, he's gone back to his past. So he acts as a novice that's learning. But in actual fact, in the future, he's the one that recruited Robert Pattinson or Neil. So he's learning that he's actually went back in the past, so living in the past, working towards the future, right? So it's a play on time, and it's very confusing. I'll probably give you like a layman terms, I'm actually going to put a trailer at the end of this video so you guys can appreciate the film itself. I'm going to watch this film like, 5 times. I'm going to go back to the cinema and watch it as soon as possible so I can just try and understand the film and, come back and, and then probably do another in-depth analysis. If you've got different like meanings, or if you want to add in as well, please do kindly comment down below and add your own, take on it. And who else surprised me as well? Who else surprised me? So like Clemency Poissy, she said something which is quite interesting. She said, don't try and understand time inversion. Just experience it, So it's the same thing with this film as well. If you try and understand, I think the more you get confused about it. But it's just a theory on time that time is just our way of perception of the randomness in the world, basically. Because thermodynamics is the measurement of randomness in the world, and the same time is a scale that we use to measure that that randomness in the world. And it says also that the randomness does not change; it either stays the same, or should I say, the randomness does not decrease, but it either stays the same or increases. So that's the laws that we're working with here. And also 10-10. When I looked at the title itself, I knew it as, I know it's Tenet, but I took it as 10-10. So the other turn's actually inverted because it's that time inversion again, So I think it's got also a spiritual side to it as well. That if you also as a person want to change your life, sometimes you have to go to the past as well, so you can, better your present and also your future as well. So obviously, me being a Christian, I'll take it in terms of like, if you want to improve your life, maybe if you notice certain things in your life are stagnant, then you have to then, ask God, our Lord and Savior, to take you to the past, to the history even before you're born, where He's able to show you certain things that were done. So you're able to then pray and rectify those things. So your present and your future is sorted out. Because what you find is, your future is determined by what you do in the present. So let me just say, it provokes thought. It provokes you, to think, about time and the concept of time and what it means, and time is the most expensive thing that we have. It's the most valuable thing that we have that nothing else can buy. So I guess what I'll take from this film is like to use our time wisely and to do everything that you want to do and just not wait for anyone so you can have a better future. So yes, guys, I'm going to put the trailer here. And once again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe as well. And if you like this, make sure you share this video and hit the bell notifications so you can see some more film reviews in the future. Peace. Take care.
Tennis. Last time it was no tennis.
One of these bullets is like us, traveling forwards through time. The other one's going backwards. Can you tell which is which? How about now?
Why does it feel so strange?
You're not shooting the bullet. You're catching it.
Whoa.
I done went back in myself, felt like hell. Work, I risked it, pace yourself. How you living? Know you thrilling, office in it. How I got my stripes and pendants backing out in the street. When it's wild, let it be. Rages out, gotta eat. Not a vibe, but away with the sound. By the way, kinda down by the days.
Who's the American?
He seems nice. I invited him to the dinner.
It's good with fists for a diplomat.
There are people in the future who need us.
You got something. Not gonna like it.
Time isn't the problem. Getting out alive is the problem.
Close the opera. Hit the red and blue outside, I think our options up. I was random, never had to line it up. I be swerving on the waves, it's like a line of run. Moving verse on my turf, I'm out of line. I put in work, I draw the line and cross it first. I need the time, I need the search. It's just like one and make it work. Start, in a verse. Start.
You have no idea what you're getting yourself into if you go through that door.
It's slow motion when I dance.
Well, I'm going, so any tips will be welcome.
Ain't no time, I'm facing scams.
What do you think we're seeing?
The detritus of a coming war.
You want to crash a plane? Well, how big a plane?
That part is a little dramatic.